Awaken Light Audio. Awaken your mind. Ignite your light.
Kill that weak version of yourself. Become who you were meant to be. What if the version of you that's suffering isn't the real you, but the one you refuse to let go of? You think you're stuck, but you're actually just loyal to a version of yourself that's no longer worthy of your future. The pain you feel isn't punishment. It's the pressure of becoming. Your comfort is killing you. Every excuse, every hesitation, every delay, it's not harmless. It's a slow death of your potential. The weak version of you whispers sweet lies, and every time you believe them, you bury your greatness deeper. The real you is waiting to rise, but the imposter has to die first. This isn't just about motivation. This is about execution. It's about drawing a hard line between who you've been and who you must become. And that transformation, it starts now. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The lazy version, the fearful version, the one that breaks promises, the one that settles, the one that plays small because it's easier to stay hidden than to risk being seen. But here's the truth. You can't become the strongest version of yourself while protecting the weakest one. This message isn't here to make you feel good. It's here to make you wake up, because the time has come not to fix the old you, but to kill it. So the one you were meant to be, the one who's disciplined, courageous, focused, alive, can finally rise. Are you ready? Chapter 1: The Weight You Carry. Letting go of the person you used to be. Before you can change, you have to confront something most people never do. You are carrying an old version of yourself that no longer serves you. And the longer you hold on to that version, the habits, the identity, the excuses, the more it weighs down your future. You're not just tired because life is hard. You're tired because you're dragging a ghost. A version of you who was built in survival. A version of you who learned to cope, not conquer. Who learned to please. Not lead. Who learned to shrink, not expand. You had your reasons, the pain, the fear, the conditioning. It all made sense. But just because it made sense then, doesn't mean it deserves to follow you now. You've grown, but have you let go? Have you told that old version of you, the one that breaks under pressure, the one that quits when it gets hard, the one that's afraid of greatness, that they no longer get to drive? Because you can't carry two identities at once. You can't say, I want to be strong, while feeding the mindset of weakness. You can't say, I want to rise, while protecting the part of you that keeps you small. Let's be honest. It's not your schedule that's stopping you. It's not your responsibilities. It's not your circumstances. It's the identity you're loyal to. The one that says, I'm not that type of person. I've never done that before. What if I fail? You need to stop negotiating with that voice, because until you do, you'll keep building your life around limitation instead of possibility. The first practice, confront the old you. Take 10 minutes. Write a letter, not to your future self, but to your past self. The one who's scared. The one who always needs permission. The one who hides behind maybe later. Tell that version, I honor you. You protected me when I needed it, but I don't need that protection anymore. I need power. I need purpose. I need to rise. Then close that chapter. Burn the paper if you have to, because the person you are becoming can share space with the person you were surviving as. Remind yourself, I am not who I used to be, and I don't owe the old me another day of this life. It's time to release what's already expired and make space for who I was born to become. Chapter 2: The Lie of Comfort. How weakness disguises itself as safety. Comfort feels kind, but often it's the most seductive form of sabotage. You think you're staying safe. You think you're being smart. But what if I told you that what you call comfort is actually what's keeping you weak? Because comfort doesn't mean peace. It doesn't mean joy. It means familiarity. It means predictability. And the weak version of you, it loves that comfort whispers, stay here, you're not ready. It says, they'll judge you. It says, you don't need to push today, just rest. One more day won't matter. But here's what comfort doesn't tell you. Every time you listen to it, you abandon your growth. You strengthen the muscle of avoidance. You reward hesitation. You normalize mediocrity. And the most dangerous part, you start thinking it's love. That voice feels nurturing, like it's protecting you. But it's not. It's caging you. The truth is this: comfort is not always kindness. Sometimes it's betrayal. Dressed in softness, it's the false friend that pats your back while stealing your future. It's the voice that says, you deserve a break. Not because you need one, but because it knows the stronger you becomes, a threat to the weaker one. You weren't built to be comfortable. You were built to grow, to expand, to face resistance, to rise through it. That's why your spirit feels restless, even when your body is resting. You were not designed to live in avoidance. You were meant to become something greater. And that means discomfort is part of the deal. Here's the hard truth. If your life feels too easy, it's probably too small. Growth requires resistance. Strength demands discomfort. Power is forged in fire, not pillows. Second practice, discomfort audit. Ask yourself, what am I avoiding because it feels uncomfortable? What conversations, actions, or changes have I delayed just to stay safe? What parts of my day feel easy but leave me empty? Now choose one. Lean into it, not recklessly, but intentionally. Say, this is where I begin, right here, in discomfort, because I'm not here to stay soft. I'm here to become unstoppable. Comfort is a liar. It says I'm okay when I'm actually stuck. It says I'm safe when I'm actually shrinking. I don't chase what's easy. I chase what builds me. And if that means discomfort, then let it come, because I refuse to stay weak in the name of feeling safe. Chapter 3. Your mindset is lying to you. Break the illusion of limits. What if the voice inside your head, the one that sounds so reasonable, so logical, so rational, is the very thing holding you back? That voice that says, you're not ready yet. You don't have what it takes. People like you don't do things like that. Sounds familiar, right? But here's the thing. Just because your mind says it doesn't mean it's true. Your mindset can lie, not because it hates you, but because it's trained by fear, by failure, by your past. And unless you rewire it, it will default to limitation. Your brain's job isn't to make you successful. It's to keep you alive, to keep you safe, to minimize risk. To minimize risk, so when you dream bigger, act bolder, or try something new, your brain doesn't celebrate. It panics. It says, don't do that, it's dangerous. You might fail. You might look stupid. You might lose control. And that's when most people stop. Not because they can't, but because they believed the lie. The lie that says fear equals truth. That discomfort means danger. That resistance means turn back. But in reality, fear is just fuel that hasn't been used. Discomfort is a doorway, not a dead end. Resistance means you're on the right path. The truth is, your mind doesn't need to be silenced, it needs to be challenged. You don't overcome limiting beliefs by ignoring them. You overcome them by proving them wrong through action. You say, I hear you, and I'm doing it anyway. I see the fear, but I choose courage. I recognize the doubt, but I still move. Because confidence doesn't come before action, it's built through it. The third practice, catch the lie, change the pattern. Next time your mind says, I can't, pause and ask, is this truth or is this protection? Then go deeper. Who taught me this belief? Where did I learn that failure equaled danger? What evidence do I have that this thought is accurate? Now act anyway. Do something small to disprove the voice. You don't need to believe everything you think. You just need to believe in who you're becoming. Talk to yourself. My mind can lie, but my actions speak louder. I don't wait for permission from fear. I act from truth, and my truth is this. I was made for more, and no illusion can cage me. Chapter 4. Excuses or excellence. You can't have both. Here's the hard truth no one wants to say out loud. Every excuse you cling to is a wall between you and the life you say you want. Yes, your pain is real. Yes, your trauma matters. Yes, life hasn't been fair, but let's be honest, your greatness doesn't care about fairness, and neither does your potential. Because reality isn't waiting for the perfect moment, it's waiting for you to decide. You've said it before, I'll start. When I have more time, I would, but they wouldn't understand. I can't. I've failed too many times. You think these are facts, but most of the time, they're just well-practiced excuses. Comfortable reasons that let you stay stuck while sounding smart, but excuses don't care how smart they sound, they're still lies. Lies dressed in logic, lies that feel like protection, but only provide delay. Let me ask you, what's the real cost of your excuses? What dream has been postponed? What version of you never got to be born because the weaker version kept finding reasons not to try? It's not about guilt, it's about clarity. You can be hurt and still heal. You can be afraid and still move. You can be uncertain and still show up. But you cannot serve two masters, excuses or excellence, fear or purpose, weakness or worth. Pick. 1. The problem is not that you're incapable, it's that your story has more weight than your standards. You're letting what happened to you define what's possible for you, but that's a choice, and choices can be changed. You weren't born with excuses, you were trained into them, which means you can train your way out. The next practice, break the excuse loop. Identify the one excuse that shows up most in your life. Maybe it's, I don't have time. I've never been good at that. People like me don't succeed. Now, write the opposite statement, not because it feels true, but because it's possible. Then ask yourself every day, what would someone without this excuse do today? Now do that thing. That's how you begin killing the weak version of yourself, not through theory, but through daily execution. Tell yourself, I can't build my future while defending my excuses. I don't need more reasons to stay the same. I need more decisions to evolve. From now on, I choose growth, not justification. I choose power, not permission. I choose to rise. Chapter 5. Discipline over emotion. Master yourself or be ruled by impulse. Let's be clear. You will never feel like doing what must be done. Not every day, not every moment, not even most of the time. But here's what separates the strong from the stuck. The strong don't move because they feel like it. They move because they decided to. They don't rely on motivation, they rely on discipline. Because if your emotions are in charge, so is your weakness. Emotion says, I'm tired. Discipline says, I'll start anyway. Emotion says, this is hard. Discipline says, that's the point. Emotion says, maybe tomorrow. Discipline says, no, now. You've been taught that self-love means being gentle, but true self-love is doing what builds you even when it's hard, even when you're not in the mood, even when no one is. Watching, because if you only show up when it's easy, you'll never make it through when it's not. Discipline isn't harsh, it's honest. It says, I respect myself too much to abandon myself every time I feel discomfort. And that voice inside, the one always looking for a way out, that's not your soul, that's your shadow. It's the leftover voice from the weaker version you're trying to leave behind. And every time you choose discipline over emotion, you silence that voice. You take back control. You become dangerous to your old patterns, your old fears, your old limitations. One more practice. Define your non-negotiable S. Pick 3 things that build the strongest version of you. Maybe it's waking up on time, moving your body, saying no to distractions, creating something each day, speaking your truth. Even when it's uncomfortable, now make them non-negotiable, not optional. Not when you feel like it, but who you are, because the disciplined you is the real you, the one buried under years of hesitation. Remind yourself, I don't let emotion dictate my future. I don't wait to feel ready. I act, because I've chosen to become more. Discipline is not punishment, it's freedom. Freedom from regret, freedom from weakness, freedom from being ruled by impulses I didn't choose. Chapter 6. You become what you repeatedly do. Kill the pattern, not just the thought. You want to change your life? Start by changing your patterns. Because here's the truth no one talks about. You don't become what you think, you become what you do. Over and over again. That moment of doubt, not the problem. That moment of fear, not the enemy. The real issue is the pattern you've built around it. Every time you back down, avoid, delay, excuse, you're strengthening the weak version of you. Not once, not twice, but daily, and repetition is what creates identity. You don't need more inspiration. You need new patterns. Patterns that say, I show up even when I'm afraid. I push when it's easier to quit. I choose hard now so life gets easier later. Because no matter how much you want to change, if your habits stay the same, you'll always return to the weaker version of yourself. It's not about hype, it's about ritual, daily disciplines, micro-decisions, invisible victories that no one claps for, but that changed your life forever. Think about it. You didn't wake up weak, you trained for it. Through years of complaining instead of committing, postponing instead of pursuing, escaping instead of enduring, and if you trained your way into weakness, you can train your way out another practice. Interrupt the pattern. Pick one negative pattern that shows up the most. Maybe it's scrolling when you should be building, comparing instead of creating, doubting instead of doing. Now, set a trigger. A phrase, a breath, a movement to interrupt it. Say out loud, this is the old me. I don't serve that version anymore. Then immediately shift, even if it's small, even if it's awkward, even if it feels fake. Because change always feels unnatural until it becomes familiar. That's how habits are rewired. That's how the new version of you is born. Tell to yourself, I am not my thoughts. I am my patterns, and my patterns create my power. I kill the old cycle, one decision at a time, not because it's easy, but because I refuse to be average. Chapter 7. You build strength through fire, not wishes. Everyone wants to be strong. Everyone wants resilience. Everyone wants to be unshakable. But few are willing to pay the price, because strength isn't granted, it's earned through pressure, through pain, through persistence. You can wish for growth. You can pray for breakthrough. But nothing replaces the fire. Look at any warrior, any master, any high achiever. What do they all have in common? They've walked through fire and didn't run. They stayed when it hurt. They endured when it got messy. They showed up when everything inside screamed, quit. You're not weak because you struggle. You're weak when you let struggle decide for you. And strength. Strength is not the absence of struggle. It's the decision to rise anyway. Stop romanticizing ease. Stop praying for an easy life. Start preparing for a powerful one. Because the life you want, the version of you that inspires, impacts, and rises, that version is forged, not found. Forged in early mornings, forged in failure, forged in the moment when no one claps and you still move forward. The next practice, step into the fire. Ask yourself, what have I been avoiding because it feels too hard? Then, don't wait for it to feel easier. Walk straight into it. Start small, but start burning away the comfort that's kept you small. It's going to hurt. It's going to shake your confidence. It might even break parts of you. But what's left will be pure steel. Remind yourself, I don't wait for strength to find me. I walk into the fire to find myself. Pain doesn't mean I'm failing, it means I'm forming. The weak version of me runs from the flame. The real me uses it to rise. Chapter 8. Fear is a liar. Choose belief over doubt. Fear doesn't speak in screams. It whispers. It tells you, you're not ready. You might fail. What will they think? What if you lose everything? And if you're not aware, you start to believe it. But hear this truth clearly. Fear is a liar. It creates futures that haven't happened, fills your mind with dangers that don't exist, and convinces you to stay small, just in case. But fear is not protection. Fear is a prison. What if the things you fear most aren't actually real? What if they're just shadows, cast by your imagination, fueled by past pain, magnified by hesitation? And what if every time you believed those shadows, you backed away from the very thing that could set you free? Fear thrives on your silence. It grows in your delay, but it dies in your decision. You don't need to feel fearless to act. You just need to believe. More than you doubt, belief isn't pretending. There's no risk. It's trusting that who you're becoming is worth facing the risk. It's looking fear in the eye and saying, I see you, I feel you, but you don't control me anymore. The old you let fear run the show. The strong you grabs the mic. One more practice. Talk back to fear. Next time fear whispers, write down what it says now. Respond, not with emotion, but with truth. For example, fear says, you'll fail. I say, I've failed before, and I'm still here, stronger. Fear says, they'll laugh. I say, let them. I'm not here for applause, I'm here for growth. Fear says, you're not enough. I say, that's not my voice. That's a lie I've outgrown. Speak your belief louder than your doubt, until doubt has nowhere left to hide. Tell yourself, fear is just a suggestion. I don't have to accept it. I don't need guarantees. I need conviction. And every time I choose belief over fear, I bury the version of me that lived in chains. I don't run from shadows. I walk through them toward the light I've always carried. Chapter 9. Burn the bridges. Don't leave a way back. To who you were, there comes a moment in every transformation when you have to decide, are you still trying or are you all in? Because here's the truth most never face. As long as there's a way back, you'll never fully move forward. That safety net, that fallback plan, it's not saving you, it's stalling you, you say. You want change? You say you want freedom. You say you want to be more. But part of you is still holding the key to a cage you swore you left behind. You kept the number, you saved the habit, you held on to the identity, just in case the new one didn't work out. But transformation doesn't happen when you try, it happens when you commit. Think of the warriors in history, the explorers, the revolutionaries. They didn't just move forward, they burned the ships behind them because the only way was through no retreat, no plan B, only now, only next, only more, and that's what you need. Burn the bridge too, your old excuses, your comfort habits, your good enough mindset, the version of you that's still negotiating with fear. The next practice, a symbolic burn. Pick one thing, just one, that ties you to your old self. It might be an item, a saved message, a routine, a behavior, a space you keep returning to out of habit. Destroy it, delete it, close the door, and as you do, say out loud, I don't go back. That version of me is gone. I build forward only. Let the burn become your freedom. Let the ashes become your foundation. Tell yourself, I'm not keeping the key to a life I've outgrown. I don't leave escape routes. I leave no doubt. I'm not trying to be better. I'm choosing to be unrecognizable to who I used to be. There's no going back, only rising. Chapter 10. Become the warrior. Live like it's already yours. This is it. Not the end, but the becoming. You've walked through fire. You've broken patterns. You've silenced fear. You've burned the bridge to your old life. So now, step into who you already are, because the warrior you've been searching for, he's not somewhere out there. He's you. After you stop pretending to be weak, becoming the warrior isn't about shouting. It's about alignment. It's when your beliefs match your behaviors, when your habits reflect your identity, when you no longer chase power. You embody it. And that doesn't mean life gets easier. It means you get stronger. The warrior version of you doesn't wait for permission. He doesn't ask for validation. He doesn't explain himself to doubters. He moves, he builds, he becomes. You no longer need to convince anyone. Not your past, not your pain, not your peers. You've earned the right to live. Like it's already yours. The discipline, the clarity, the inner peace. The fire in your eyes that doesn't blink anymore, because this isn't motivation anymore, it's memory. You're remembering who you were always meant to be. The last practice, walk like it's yours, today. Show up not as someone trying, but as someone embodying. How would you walk? How would you speak? What would you tolerate, or no longer tolerate? What would you build if you believed it was already done? Now act like it. One choice, one breath, one powerful presence at a time. Because your future doesn't need more dreaming. It needs demonstration. Finally, remind yourself, I am no longer training to become. I am becoming. The old version of me died in the fire. The new version rose from it. I don't chase the life I want, I build it. Step by step, breath by breath, until the world can't deny what I already know. It's mine, because I am the warrior.
Thank you for spending this moment with Awaken Light Audio. If something today touched your heart or opened your mind, don't keep it to yourself. Share your thoughts in the comments. What spoke to you most? Tell us about your journey, your questions. Send it their way, because light grows when it's shared. Until next time, stay present, stay awakened, and keep becoming who you're meant to be.